What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Khvostov-7G auto rifle, which was one of our first weapons inside of the Destiny 1 campaign when our ghost came to us and revived us. So we're going to do a nice guide for y'all on how to get this weapon, as well as do a little review on its perks. So to obtain this new exotic auto rifle with the Khvostov, we have a few different steps where some of them I'm actually just going to be showing you guys where some things are that you have to collect. So at the end, it'll be mostly just gameplay of different routes that you have to go inside of these different missions to collect things, but we'll get into it with first, you do have to finish that final shape campaign because we need access to Micah 10, that nice guardian inside of the old tower, because they have a good amount of quests that we can use to progress inside of getting the Khvostov. Obtaining the Alone in the Dark is one of them, and unlocking those Cyst missions. So the first thing you do after you finish that campaign at the old tower, go talk to all the vendors, obviously, and grab all those quests. After that, you go and loot all 9 regional chests in the Pale Heart, since that's what the final shape campaign is really all about, is opening up the Pale Heart, getting to the Witness, coming together in that 12-man activity. These are those gold chests all around. There is 3 in each of the areas, the Blooming, Impasse, as well as the Landing. So I have a little gameplay of the last couple regional chests that I found, but they are marked by the little notations on the map, and you go around, find all 3 in each of those regions as the first step, because we'll get little encryption bits for each of those chests. After you have those 9 encryption bits from those 9 regional chests, we are progressing those Micah 1 quests until we are able to get that Alone in the Dark quest from Micah, which leads us to be able to find some ghosts around the Pale Heart, unlocking the Cyst missions, which we are using the Cyst missions to find more of those encryption bits. So this is basically where at this point it's going to be a lot of just running in and out of different places with unlocking these cysts. Like I said, you have to go through that Alone in the Dark quest. There are 6 different cysts that you have to unlock, so 6 different ghosts that you free. But once you do that, you can head into these missions, and there will be 6 different encryption bits that you have to find, 1 in each of these missions. That'll give us 15 total, which we then use to actually get the legendary version of the auto rifle in the Impasse, actually where we grabbed it in D1. So that'll also be in the timestamps and everything too. It'll just be in the gameplay. You can see the Cyst missions. They're basically like lost sectors, doing certain tasks inside of those to progress through it, but I'll show you all 6 encryption bits that you get from those, which then turns into a legendary one, which, like I said, you take it to the Impasse and get the legendary version of the Khvostov. Then there are 8 travelers around the map that you have to find on the Pale Heart, while also killing all of the 9 Overthrow bosses. So there are 3 of them in each of our landing zones again. So the Landing, the Impasse, as well as the Blooming. I'll throw them up on the screen at the end when I cover the Overthrow bosses and which ones you have to defeat. But like I said, that'll all be inside of the timestamps, as well as actually getting the Khvostov, because that's all we have left to do after you collect the legendary version. Is instead of encryption bits, we're getting motes of light from those Traveler and Overthrow bosses. So once we get 17, we become exotic mote of light. From all of that, they combine, we head back to the tower, and we get the exotic version right here. So it is a beautiful, very fun. Shoot to loot is disgusting, but we will cover everything right now. Alright, I know that was a lot of going around the Pale Heart, finding a bunch of those different collectibles with the encryption bits, as well as those visions of the Traveler. But now we got our nice Overthrow bosses within the Blooming, Overpass, and Landing. So within the Landing, you will have 3 of those Lucent Hive. One is an Acolyte, one is a Knight, one is a Wizard. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce their names, but you have to defeat each one of these in the Landing to get a Mote of Light from each of those. That'll be your first 3. After the Landing, we got the Impasse, where we're gonna have 3 bosses again, one being a Tormentor, and then one being one of those Strand Subjugators, the other being a Stasis Subjugator over in this little corner here in the Impasse. But again, I'm not gonna attempt their names all over the place with the spelling on those, but you can grind those out to get yourself 3 more Motes of Light, along with the 8 that we got from those Travelers. Last but not least, we got the Blooming with the Taken enemies. There are 3 bosses again, where the Taken Meatball was disabled for a while, or that Taken Servitor, which is where I got my exotic Mote to drop. You can see it in the gameplay, but there's also a Taken Ogre, a Taken Minotaur, and then that Taken Servitor right here in the Blooming. These will drop you your other 9 Motes of Light, where that last one will give you the exotic Mote to drop. Then you just gotta go collect your exotic Khvostov. So right here is the exotic Khvostov after you go back where you deposited all those visions of the Traveler. You got this bad boy coming out as the exotic version. With the right choice, every 7th bullet from this weapon deals additional damage and ricochets to nearby targets. If you did watch their little dev interviews, it says it also bounces 7 times because Bungie number, of course. As for our other perk, we got Eyes Up Guardian. Collecting orbs of power strengthens the weapon's next ricochet shot, allowing them to bounce between multiple targets. So that is where it can bounce up to 7 times when you get this bad boy charged up. Plus it does a little bit more power to it and damage. On top of that, like I said, shoot to loot. Shooting orbs of power picks it up. Also shooting ammo bricks picks it up and automatically reloads all of our equipped weapons, not just the weapon that we shoot the ammo for, but every single one. A lot of people were using this during day 1 for the shoot to loot aspect because it is so nasty. Love that they added it to the Khvostov. Then obviously we got our hammer forge for that increased range on this thing, ally mag for faster reload, and composite stock for that stability and handling. Stats on the side pretty solid. Aim assist is pretty disgusting at 87, with that handling being able to swatch on and off pretty quick as well at 71. So Crucible this thing eats, as well as in the PvE realm with that shoot to loot and the ricochet between enemies. It is a super fun exotic auto rifle. I know it's got a lot of competition out there with all the other auto rifles that we have. In the kinetic slot up there, we have Quicksilver. We got the trusty dusty melee weapon Monte Carlo. We got the Necrochasm as well. It is a little bit better this season with that buff to it. I feel like it has a good synergy as well, but this thing, very fun, very long guide. So I appreciate all you guys again for coming back to the channel. It means a lot. Hit that bell and subscribe if you haven't. Helps me out, helps the channel out a bunch. Plus you guys get those notifications on guides like this, builds that we're doing. Lots of prismatic still to come out because those class items give us endless build potential. But again, I appreciate all you guys for coming back. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.